Good morning, everyone. This is All Media Access News. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell for future updates and live streams. If you would like to donate to my channel, I'll definitely leave the link below in the comment section. I hope everybody had a great weekend. God bless you to you and your family. Um, I decided to name this topic Youth with No Guidance because this generation is not like how we used to be when we were younger. This generation is definitely being misled, um, with drugs, violence, gangs, um, and a lot of the youth now doesn't have that father figure. So a lot of them look for the streets, the environment that they're in, whatever they want to call it now, the ghetto, um, and they try to do their best to build a reputation because they're not getting that love and attention that they need. You know what I'm saying? And especially with the music and with all these movies that they be putting out. I've said it before. The government is good at misleading and pointing these young kids in the wrong direction. And as parents, no matter how hard you try, no matter how successful you want your children to be, they're gonna make mistakes. And the whole point of making mistakes is learning from them and guiding them the right way. You know what I mean? And being straightforward and honest with them. Because if not, then they're never gonna fully understand the consequences that that can happen and can change their whole entire life. You know, um, I remember myself being young and making a bunch of mistakes. My mom had to raise me on her own, and she was young. You know what I'm saying? So there is a lot of young parents, um, like what they call it, babies having babies. Um, and that hasn't changed at all. You know what I'm saying? You do have parents that are really strict and and try their best to be disciplined, verbally. But you could give your children the best. You could give them everything. But like I said, that doesn't mean that they're not gonna make mistakes in life. They definitely are. And it's up to you to guide them the right way. And no matter how hard you try, sometimes those mistakes are gonna be repeated because of everything that they see and everything they're surrounded by. You have parents that have had to move away from the environment that they were living in just for the safety of their children, giving them a better education, a better life. But, you know, at the same time, you gotta watch who they hang with. There's a saying where they say, show me who your friends and I'll tell you who they are. You know, um, and I believe that that's really important, and the government, instead of spending money on building jails and prisons and throwing these guns and these drugs out here, they should open up more community centers and more programs for parents, whether it's single parents or parents that are co-parenting, even parents that are together raising their family. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people with children also go through the shelter system. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that takes them away from the activities that they need to be in. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that you don't know that ever happened, but things happen. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really blame yourself. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in that situation. I had to grow up in the shelter system, as well, you know what I'm saying? But my mom was a really strong person, you know what I mean? And growing up around negativity, around my environment, as I got older, I try to do my best to, you know, do positive things and want to have positive changes. You know what I'm saying? But basically, that's the reason why a lot of the youth now just, there's really no change because there's nowhere for them to turn. You know what I'm saying? There's no type of programs. There's no type of activities. Um, they have a lot of free time. Like here in New York, there's so many holidays and so many vacations that how are they supposed to get the education that they need? You know what I'm saying? All they really have is a lot of public schools and a lot of programs they have to be paid for. You know what I'm saying? So I would just definitely like to see a positive change so that the youth uh, and the generation doesn't have to repeat itself. I think that's important, and I want to know what you guys think about that. What do you think about the youth with no guidance? Like, what would you like to see change if you had the opportunity to do something about it? You know what I'm saying? A lot of the youth, they're either being thrown in jail or, not given an opportunity to learn from their mistakes. You know, I've met a lot of young males that, they say their father's not in their life, or their parents are on drugs, or they've been through tragedies in their life, you know, physically abused, mentally abused, growing up around, domestic violence, definitely having nowhere to turn. And it's sad, but it's true. And that's the thing. Um, Sometimes people don't want to face the truth. A lot of people would run away from it instead of facing it. And you don't have to be perfect because we've all made mistakes in our life, but it's based on what you get from it and if you're willing to learn and impact somebody else's life. I believe as adults we are a positive role model to our surroundings. Just because they're not your children doesn't mean that you can't give them some type of advice. You know, as parents, if you guys are not together, you have to co-parent. You know what I'm saying? Yes is yes and no means no. You know what I mean? Social media is definitely something that we didn't have growing up in the 80s and 90s. Since the new millennium, you know, social media has skyrocketed. You know what I'm saying? All these Instagrams and Facebook and stuff that these young kids have is like it's just another way for them to continue to make those type of mistakes. And it's like you get your teenage child a phone, you take it away from them. It's like they ready to catch a heart attack. People don't spend family time anymore. I've seen parents with their kids and they're on their phone more than they're giving their children attention. Like, or you can't even sit at the dinner table um, without everyone having a phone. You know what I'm saying? Communication is very important. You know, Asking questions is very important. You know, Building that type of relationship and that type of bond with your child is important from when they're young. You can't wait till they hit a certain age to teach them what responsibility is because technology is completely different. Like you got kids that are 5, 6, 7 years old that already know how to use a cell phone. They literally know how to use a cell phone. Like they'll know your password and everything just to get into your phone. And I see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this youth is definitely something to worry about. They need to be taught morals and respect, not just um, being told what to do, but show them how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to build a reputation for themselves or try to live that street life, like just because you hang out with people that have lived that life or supposedly about that life doesn't mean that that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? And you see that all over the place. You know, I'm confused about it because I grew up around that type of environment. You know what I'm saying? I had to grow up in that type of street life, and sometimes the mistakes that you make, if you don't learn from them, you might just go downhill. You know what I'm saying? I have friends that were either killed or spending the rest of their life in prison. Like I've said, I've been to 32 funerals, and they were all friends. And I've been to two funerals where they are family members. And a lot of my friends are spending many years in prison or the rest of their life in prison because we didn't really grow up, you know what I'm saying, with a father, you know what I mean? But that's no excuse, like, hey, good morning, Joanna. I'm good, hanging in there, you know what I'm saying? There's no excuse, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that, they didn't have their father, their mother, the more things you lose, the harder you gotta push, the more motivated you gotta be. But at the same time, when are they gonna start opening up, programs and community centers for the youth? You know, people like me that have been around that type of life and grew up around that type of environment, we all need to form together and put out the message so the youth can have a better opportunity. We all have a voice, you know what I'm saying? Dice TV was good, bro. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? Everyone that I believe that, you know, us as having YouTube channels, we definitely have to put out that type of message. You know, yeah, I'm from New York and I was born in New York and all that stuff, but when I've gone to other states, they're not really too concerned about that because it's not where you from, it's where you at. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely thinking about starting an organization and I'm trying to meet with some important people called Each One Teach One. It'll be for like single parents, you know, for the youth, um, and also I could visit juvenile detentions and also correctional facilities and try to be a mentor. You know, us as a minority, we have less of a chance unless we form together and unite together instead of going against each other. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to call it hate or envy or whatever, gotta definitely separate all that stuff. Hey, Joanna, how you doing? You know what I mean? So it's definitely important. You know, it's hard for minorities to actually reach to that type of higher standard because you're already labeled from the second you come through the door. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that if they open up more programs and give more opportunities and more guidance, it's important. But as long as the minority continues to, like I said, kill each other, sell each other drugs, rob and steal, you know, if you have a felony, you can't even vote. You know what I'm saying? You go to prison, you do your time, you come out, you still have a record. There's no winning at all. You know what I'm saying? One little mistake could ruin your whole entire life. One little mistake could ruin your entire life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when does that excuse run out? Where you can't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, growing up, a lot of us didn't have fathers. You know what I'm saying? We had to turn to the street for that type of love and attention. You know what I mean? But if you're already 30 some years old and you still trying to live that life, then you already lost. You got to turn negativity into something positive. Take everything you've been through and turn it into something positive. WG forever. Good morning. It's important. So it's not a color thing. It's not a race thing. You know, it's all a mentality type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So many people grew up without their fathers. I noticed that. But my dad was there for me when I was born. But after I turned 5 years old. Yeah, a lot of our parents didn't last. And it's sad. It's really sad when you have children with somebody and it doesn't work out and you guys separate. The ones that suffer are the kids. You know what I'm saying? They suffer the most. But I'm gonna do my best to put that message out. You know what I'm saying? If you're a single mother, just keep striving. You know what I'm saying, and try to do your best. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm a father. You know what I mean? You got single mothers and single fathers raising their kids for numerous reasons. You know what I mean? It's sad, but it's true. And that's just what I'm trying to let people know, that we have to talk about the truth and we have to face the truth or there'll never be change. There will never be change.